I'm Eric Nason with Newsshooter.com, and we are at City Gear 2022. I'm with Brandon at the Aputure booth, and Brandon, wow, this booth, wow.
Yeah, this is our biggest booth to date. So we now have a 40 by 50 foot booth at City Gear. That's 2,000 square feet. And we were like, okay, how do we utilize this in the best way possible? So we have everything exhibiting all of our lights. We also built 2 large sets for everyone to shoot with and play with Sidus Link, controlling all of the lights, like several LS600C Pros up in the truss here, several Nova P600Cs, and a variety of other fixtures. So you can see how you can use Sidus Link in a real-world environment and get to see what they look like on Alexas. Yeah. We also have a testing booth where for our LS600C Pro and other lights where you can go inside, spend some time in there, and test, get some spectral readings, get some light readings for your light meters, and really just kind of sit down and do an intensive with each of our lights.
Fantastic. All right, you mentioned it. P600c accessories. Let's go through the hit list and some feature sets on them.
For sure. So we just announced, I think, 7 or 8 Nova P600c accessories. The one right next to me is the Nova P600c dual head yoke. This is something that we had mentioned before, but basically it's really straightforward. You just gotta be able to stack 2 Nova P600Cs on top of each other. That gets you an equivalent of about a 2x2 light with about 1,200 watts of output. So obviously you got to get 2 Novas separately, but this gives you a really, really large amount of light and the ability to put it on a rolling stand and just kind of wheel that around instead of having to have 2 stands and create a larger source overall. Throw this into your 8x frame and carry that around with you, and I think that's going to be a really great setup for studios or on-location work. We also have a 45-degree metal grid on the Nova P600C right behind me. This is a metal grid that slips right on and controls the light to limit it to a 45-degree beam angle. We're also going to be coming out with some other ones for 30 degrees and 60 degrees, and potentially a kit for all of them together as well. But a lot of users were asking us for a metal grid, even though we also have these other fabric grids that we do use with our partners like Aputure and Honey Crates, just because they want something a little bit more compact and slimmer profile, and they're willing to sacrifice the portability for that. We also have Nova P600C barn doors, so that's very straightforward, just like the P300C barn doors. A lot of people may ask for a panel light, a soft panel light especially, why would you need barn doors? And it's not to get the hard cuts like you would with the Fresnel type fixture, but you do gain the ability to flag light off, cut off some spill, especially when you're shooting into a large frame. And our barn doors, actually for panels, have a fabric lightly cover that surrounds the perimeter of it. Nice. So make sure that when you're folding those leaves, you're not getting any light leak. So if you're in a dark room where the spill is key, you're able to limit that really, really well.
Nice. Nice.
Next to that, we also have the Nova P600C rain shield. You're going to be able to use it perfectly fine in inclement weather. You're going to be able to take it outside because even though the Nova P600C isn't weatherproof, we wanted to give everyone a way to use it outside because not everyone shoots in LA. A lot of people shoot in the Midwest or in Canada where it does rain. Here, we just have the benefit of always being sunny. And you can still see your controls because of the clear vinyl on the back.
And yes, there's more?
Yes, there is more. We had, like I said, 7 or 8 accessories. So we also have the Nova P600C softbox. Just like the P300C, we have a softbox coming out for the P600C. This is a collapsible softbox with a wire frame. It includes a grid and a quarter grid-like diffusion, and it is a 2x3 softbox. So it spans 2 foot by 1 foot surface area of the P600C into a 2x3. So basically 6xing the surface area to get you a lot more soft light. For all of our light control devices, we always try to include a grid nowadays because sure, soft light is one thing, but you also need to be able to control everything that you're pushing out. Soft light that floods everywhere is good in a lot of scenarios, but you also want to be able to add that little extra bit of dimension to our light. Yeah. And as a lighting company, that's something we want to provide.
Yeah. All right, keep going. You're doing great.
Exactly. So we have 2 more main ones. We have the space light and the pole-operated yoke. The pole-operated yoke is fairly straightforward, and it's great for anyone who's using the P600C in a studio-type environment who just needs to stick your pole up there and kind of crank and adjust your pan and tilt. So that's something that not everyone's going to need, but if you're in a studio, this is a game changer for that. So you don't have to always get up on a lift or get up on a ladder to adjust your lights.
These would be great for studios.
Yes, it's 100% fantastic for our studio uses, and personally, I don't like having to lug out the ladder or having to lug out the lift. Luckily today, when we were building this truss, everything was lowered down because we have a hanging truss, but that's not always the case in your permanent studio sets. But we also have hanging a Nova P600C space light. So this space light just hangs off of the junior pin, so it's actually compatible with both the P600C and the P300C.
Oh, nice.
So you just slip it on top of the yoke, and you have your space light And you have the outer ring for a skirt, so you can actually roll up half of the skirt to control it and flag light off of the back. If you don't need to flag light any light off, then you can just remove the skirt entirely.
Fantastic. Okay. Now, one thing you guys are known for is affordability.
Yes.
So these are a lot of very pro-oriented tools. Give me some ideas of the pricing as we go down there.
The pricing varies depending on each product, but a lot of them come in for like $199, $149, or $390 or $349. So everything is within that $149 to $349 range. For example, something like the grid. The grid is actually a little bit cheaper, and I forget exactly off the top of my head. But the space light is just $199. So you're getting a whole space light set up for the P300C or the P600C for only $199. And then the pull-operated yoke, I believe, is $349. So that's kind of where you're looking at for studio-type setups.
Yeah. Really, that's really affordable. These are great pricing. And are they going to be available soon?
Yes, so some of them are already shipping, like the Nova P300C Softbox, the barn doors, I believe, and the grid. Some things like the space light, the rain shield are still coming in, and they'll be shipping within the next couple of months. Pre-orders are available for all of them now, so they'll just ship and arrive at you when they land.
Awesome. Thank you, Brandon.
Of course, thank you.